Welcome to Galshio channel, a news platform of what's happening in Malaysia. Malaysia Prime Minister explains prompt hearing of Najib's pardon application. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has explained the prompt hearing given by the Federal Territories Pardons Board to Najib Razak's royal pardon application. Speaking at the Prime Minister's Department's monthly assembly, Anwar denied suggestions that a convict would need to serve at least 3 years of his sentence before his pardon application can be considered. Anyone who has been convicted of an offense can submit an initial application in line with the given process, he said. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today acknowledged that he played a role in ensuring Datuk Seri Najib Razak's application reached the Pardons Board, saying it was his duty to do so as Prime Minister. But he denied speeding up the convicted former Prime Minister's application. In this case, the application was made, and it is true that as Prime Minister I ensured that it was heard. So, I acknowledge responsibility for that, he was quoted as saying at the monthly assembly of the Prime Minister's Department this morning. Anwar said that as Prime Minister, it is his responsibility to ensure that all pardon applications received are to be given prompt attention, including Najib's. Asked if Najib's pardon application was expedited, Anwar said he takes it upon himself to ensure that all applications received are given prompt attention. On Saturday, UMNO Supreme Council member Lokman Adam acknowledged Anwar's role in expediting Najib's pardon hearing. Lokman expressed his party's gratitude to Anwar for expediting the hearing of Najib's petition, which resulted in a commutation of the former Prime Minister's sentence and fine. Last Friday, the Pardons Board announced the reduction of Najib's prison sentence in the SRC International case from 12 years to 6. His fine was also reduced from Rm 210 million to Rm 50 million, but with an additional year added to the sentence if he fails to pay the amount. In his speech to the Assembly, Anwar noted that the outcome of Najib's pardon application has evoked strong views from all quarters. He said he hopes his explanation would quell tensions that have arisen. Anwar was also reported calling on the public to refrain from demanding an open explanation from the Pardons Board regarding Najib's case, saying the decision had been made by the then Yang di-Pertuan Agong al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin al-Mustafa Billah Shah, who based it on the law. The board members gave their views, but ultimately the decision was made by the former Yang di-Pertuan Agong, he said. Under the federal constitution, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong chairs the meetings of the Pardons Board for the Federal Territories, which comprises the Attorney General, the Federal Territories Minister, and a maximum of 3 other members appointed by the Agong. Anwar added that the Agong holds the discretion to grant pardons, and it is his prerogative whether to explain the grounds of his decision or not. Let's calm down. Let's accept what has been provided in the federal constitution. We should refrain from demanding explanations from the Pardons Board that was chaired by the Agong, as the final decision ultimately rests with him, Anwar was quoted as saying. The Prime Minister said whether the former king chooses to provide an explanation or not is entirely within His Majesty's prerogative. That is the authority given to the king by the Constitution since Merdeka, he said. Najib was found guilty of abusing his position and misappropriating Rm 42 million belonging to SRC International SDN-BHD, a former 1MDB subsidiary, and sentenced to 12 years in jail and a fine of Rm 210 million. He began serving his jail time on August 23, 2022. On February 2, the Pardons Board halved Najib's jail sentence to 6 years and reduced the fine amount to Rm 50 million. The decision drew discontent from both Najib's supporters who had hoped he would be granted a full pardon, as well as the former UMNO president's detractors.